hell did it take me a couple of weeks to get to this? No, seriously, that is a question that I do not have the answer to. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rebel Shadow, and today I got a lot of stuff to talk about. So it's come to my attention a few weeks ago that Impact Wrestling is changing their name back to TNA. If this isn't a company with the biggest identity crisis in the history of professional wrestling, I don't know what is. So I actually like this, but at the same time, I've grown accustomed to calling the company name Impact Wrestling. I'm not like when I was a kid, like I was like a teenager, still in middle school. I was mostly grown accustomed to calling TNA Impact Wrestling. That's what I was mostly accustomed to calling the company TNA. I used to call it TNA quite a lot because I first discovered Impact Wrestling around 2017 when I was like still 12 years old, and I got more into TNA in the following year, and holy shit, it was one hell of a product. I'm actually glad I discovered Impact Wrestling as an alternative product to watching WWE. And yeah, like that was like if I was looking for a different wrestling company to watch, Impact Wrestling was the first one I ever watched outside of WWE. I didn't watch any other product. But I digress. Personally, I think this is a good move for them. But at the same time, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because this is like such a major identity crisis. Like I don't even know what to call the company anymore. Cause then you're gonna have the crowd chanting TNA, TNA, TNA. I miss those days, dude. I really do. But Impact Wrestling was much more synonymous, and it made the company stand out, and it made the company feel more unique. And a lot of people thought that the TNA acronym was a bit juvenile because it was supposed to be a double entendre for the term tits and ass. You catch my drift. But I digress. On that part, yeah. I can see why they say it's juvenile. It really didn't make sense. I mean, total non-stop action. I mean, I get what you're trying to go for the company. At least you're trying to repurpose the name. But at the same time, the original meaning of TNA, it just kind of ruins it. Impact Wrestling really made it stand out. Because, like, it was the name... The name Impact Wrestling actually made it look more, it was actually something that made the company be more able to be taken seriously, in my personal opinion. And I'm not sure exactly where this is going to go, but dude, in January 2024, I'm absolutely going to miss the era of Impact Wrestling. I really am. Because witnessing Impact Wrestling go away and turn back to total non-stop action wrestling, it's kind of surreal. It's kind of surreal because it would feel like I've time traveled back in time to the early days of TNA. And that's basically what it is. Because total non-stop action wrestling... It's supposed to be a throwback to the early days of TNA when you had those... How do I fucking say this? You had stars like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Scott Steiner, Kurt Angle, Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Let me see if I can name some more off the top. Oh yeah, you had Shark Boy, Suicide, Team 3D, The Monster Abyss, Father James Mitchell, The War Machine Rhino, and let me see who else. Yeah, literally anyone who's not fucking Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan didn't give a shit about the fans. He never did, and nor did fucking Sleazy E, Eric Bischoff. He never gave a shit about the fans. All they cared about was destroying TNA like they did to WCW. If they hadn't... Bro, if Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff hadn't taken over WCW, and if the AOL Time Warner merger hadn't happened in 2001, WCW would have still existed. But no. Fucking hell. And another thing, one thing I don't understand about Impact Wrestling's branding and outlook is that why is the name called TNA Impact when you have a fucking exclamation point at the end of the name? At the end of the name, we should just call it like if you're gonna have an exclamation point, at the very least call it TNA Impact. Like scream it from the top of your fucking lungs. Like, because when you see that logo for Impact Wrestling right now, you don't see you literally see an exclamation point at the end. So like, and that's how it's been since 2017. So like don't call it Impact Wrestling, just call it Impact Wrestling, because you have a fucking exclamation point at the end. So like I'm goddamn flabbergasted right now. Like, so yeah, that's basically how it's been. 2004 to 2011. From 2004 to 2011. Like, that's like, from then you called it TNA Impact, and then you call it Impact Wrestling, and that's how it's been from 2011 until 2017, and then 2017 was like, man, like Impact has had such, like more appropriate. Like, the way that the Impact's visual presentation and style was a lot more appropriate for its time during every year. You can't lie. It was a lot more appropriate for its time. But sometimes I feel like there's no direction, given the fact that there's constant name changes. It's driving me insane. It really is. Good Lord, I've been ranting and raving. I'm sorry. Scott D'Amore, Scott D'Amore is doing a damn good job because, like, I don't know. Scott D'Amore basically saved Impact Wrestling. So did Anthem. Anthem and Scott D'Amore did Impact Wrestling a favor. They basically saved Impact Wrestling, or TNA, whatever the fuck you want to call it, from going 6 feet under. Like, no matter what you say, professional wrestling will always have a place in my heart. Always has, always will. And for the people saying wrestling is fake and gay, get bent. No one likes you fucking retarded faggots either. There's my opinion on Impact Wrestling changing their name from Impact Wrestling to TNA. I actually like what they're doing, but at the same time, it's gonna confuse a shit ton of people. So yeah, let me know what your opinions are on Impact Wrestling changing their name back to TNA. I'm Rebel Shadow. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And as for the haters, go fuck yourselves. Woo!